Well, today a bill defining man and woman in state law had a hearing where several opponents warned of unintended consequences, potentially including where Space Command is headquartered.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellow Hammer. Now we've got to talk about this nonsensical narrative that's spread like a social contagion, like transgenderism. That it's happening right here in the state of Alabama. This social contagion, though, is idiocy in the news media. Because for some reason, almost every media outlet outside of talk radio has decided that what's happening right now in the Alabama legislature, the idea that there is a bill, a what is a woman bill that defines what a woman is, that will derail the Space Command coming to Alabama. Even though Joe Biden has already made it pretty clear he's stealing it and he's taking it to Colorado. But because the folks that populate the media aren't very bright, this is what they're latching onto. That it happens to be the bill that's in the legislature right now. Not the fact that they've been trying to steal it for the last 2 years. It's what's happening in the legislature right now. Listen to this.
Well, today a bill defining man and woman in state law had a hearing where several opponents warned of unintended consequences, potentially including where Space Command is headquartered. State Capitol reporter Maddie Beer-Temple has more.
The What is a Woman Act defines man and woman and says state government must use male or female in recording vital statistics. The bill defines woman as an adult female and a female as an individual whose biological reproductive system is designed to produce ova. Sponsor Susan DeBose says the intent is to codify, quote, common sense and science into law.
Common sex-based words are used thousands of times in state law, but recently activists have sought to redefine these words and separate sex from biology.
DuBose says this bill will protect women in spaces like prisons or domestic violence centers.
If we don't codify the definition of common sex-based terms, laws that prohibit sex discrimination will cease to mean anything at all, and single-sex private spaces will disappear.
During committee, several transgender people spoke against the bill, saying it will lead to the policing of people's bodies.
This bill is big government examining and classifying your body, your wife's body, your husband's body, and your child's body.
They also say it could brand Alabama as unwelcoming for not only transgender people, but possibly the headquarters of Space Command.
The friends I have in the White House run the military and veterans offices in the White House.
Cassandra Williamson is executive director of Transgender and Diverse Veterans of America Action Group and says the White House is watching this bill.
They want to know if I would recommend that the Space Force move its headquarters to Huntsville. So a vote for this will be something I will notify the White House of, and we will certainly not recommend moving the Space Force here.
Now, the committee did not vote on this bill yet. There were some amendments added to it, and it could undergo other changes before being in committee next week, when it will likely get a vote. Reporting in Montgomery, Maddie Beer-Temple.
And one of those amendments allows unknown to be an option for a birth certificate. That's only in cases when doctors cannot determine a baby's sex due to a medical condition.
Now, that narrative is just silly all the way around, but we'll get into how dumb it came to be. But first, let me tell you about some other stuff said at that meeting that was referenced. Let me talk first about a rocket scientist. Yeah, a rocket scientist did what every rocket scientist in North Alabama does. They use the lamest joke possible. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell this is a bad bill, but here I am. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Go visit a bar in Huntsville, and you'll hear that about 1,000 times. But it gets worse than that. How about a doctor who doesn't know the difference between male and female? Belle Ann Moyers is a doctor, biologist, and a trans woman. She says the bill uses arbitrary biology to regulate social spaces. Arbitrary biology. Okay, like gender. Okay, good. And then, of course, once again, Cassandra Williamson, a veteran Karen, who's going to call the White House if she doesn't get her way.
Is that I've got some friends in the White House who are asking me to tell them where Alabama stands on equality for all people, particularly when around these definitions of words. They want to know if I would recommend that the Space Force move its headquarters to Huntsville. So a vote for this will be something I will notify the White House of.
Now, let's be real about it here for a second. It is obvious that this woman has no connections. She's referring to the Space Command as the Space Force. But this is how these stories start. It's pathetic in that every media outlet followed this particular woman, who's actually a man, proving once again that men are better at everything, including being women, is pathetic and sad.